Well, Roy, both of us know that physique display is only one small part of weight training and bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's so true.
I know yourself that you're just as interested in the fitness and the health part as you are in the physique part.
Very much so.
Well, we took a camera crew and a few of the lads from the gym, and we went down to the local pub, and we talked to some non-weight trainers about weight training and the reasons that we do it.
You start this bodybuild, you go in for it for the simple reason of keeping fit, or that you want to build a good body?
Well, I think everybody's got their own reasons.
I
think everybody's got their own reasons, but I think basically behind everybody's thoughts when they first start bodybuilding is to just have improvement, physical improvement, and that's right down the board. That is in terms of fitness, endurance, looks, the lot.
So it's not just a question of living longer and living healthier. Then there's a kind of sexual thing in it as well, is there not? That lady's going to fancy me more because I've got big rippling muscles. No?
You just heard it said that this is.
But I mean, look at this. I mean, this. How would you like to develop an arm like this? I mean, it doesn't say on the front of that you're going to live longer, live better. I mean, it's all about bodies. It's not about living longer and being
This is
healthier.
said to Carlo as we were winding up. The whole point of this session is perhaps the answer to that question. I would personally say no. There are some people who would like that sort of arm because they want to do it for their pure physique.
A lot of people don't realise that you can do weight training for a lot of things. You can do weight training to keep fit. You don't have to get very muscular. A lot of people think that
sorry, Phil, but any athlete who wants to progress uses weight to make him better.
Yeah, they do.
Because, I mean, you're a rugby player, I do sort of play squash, and I do stunt work. And it helps me, it gives me confidence in knowing that I can hold on to things longer, and gives me stamina, confidence in what I'm doing.
See, one thing that you must realise about these sort of people, they are one in a million. I would say that there isn't one person sitting here who does lift weights who could ever develop a body like that. We just simply haven't got the potential. And most of us realise this, and that sort of extreme development isn't really for us. We'd like to have a shapely body, sure, something that we find pleasant to look at, and we hope that everybody else finds pleasant to look at. Yeah. And I'm convinced that a body with a reasonable development must be more attractive or sexy than the average sort of body you see walking around these days with a nice stomach on them.
Do you weight trainers really think that you are appealing to women? You've got sex appeal. You say you're doing it for yourselves, but I'm sure this isn't true. You're just trying to cover it up.
But do you think we're appealing?
No.
Why not? Why? I want to ask
Put it this way, I don't like to see a flabby man or a skinny man. I'd rather see just an ordinary, well-built
Okay,
man.
I want to say something. Can you see anybody that looks extraordinary around here?
Oh, putting swimming trunks on, they probably look extraordinary.
You want to?
Well, I mean, 1% of the time we're in swimming trunks.
Yeah,
This is how we are.
I've seen you, Carlo, at the swimming pool, actually, and everybody looks. I mean, it's
with
an immediate
admiration,
reaction.
surely.
Yeah. I mean, myself, I don't think, but I think, my God.
A lot of people have perhaps misguided ideas about bodybuilders. They imagine people spend a lot of time in gyms with peculiar-looking machines rather than just sets of weights. Having finished a set of exercises, they immediately lift up with a tape measure and ponce around in front of a mirror. Now, you may all laugh, and this may not happen, but it's what a lot of people believe goes on. And they believe
it's not publicised.
Maybe, and they believe that the sole end is simply to get a big body with large muscles.
All of us here are doing weight training to improve our bodies because we think a man should look like that, and therefore we're trying to be more manly.
Yeah, but the average man doesn't look like that.
I don't care what the average man looks like. The average man looks pathetic these days because the average man is sitting on his backside all day long, eating the wrong foods. You look at the average man when he worked out in the field. He doesn't look anything like the average man does today. We look more like the average man who works in the field does because we've got a little bit more muscle.
And I guarantee that 80% of bedrooms in this country has got a set of chest expanders at the bottom of the wardrobe or something, because everybody really wants to have a good physique, and
there's a latent desire in everyone.
but they won't admit it. They won't admit it because they feel embarrassed.
Yeah, so I want to make a point is that we're not all sort of thickheads doing this. We're not all great slabs of meat that you chuck about the butcher shop, as it were. We try and improve ourselves. This is really what we're trying to get at, isn't it?
I can see little point in training in a gym with weights and doing nothing else solely to build a good body and solely for display. And I would like somebody to justify the expenditure of all that energy and all that time.
Well, there again, you've just named it, really. You said that other people they do some training for the rugby. Well, some people just like to do just weight training, and that's what they do.
Yeah, but
don't forget, weight training is a very personal occupation. You know, you don't do it for anyone else. You don't do it for any one thing.
Right,
it's
accept that.
purely for yourself.
But for what end? Yeah, you say it's for yourself. For what end?
Well, that must be the ultimate end, is for your own personal...
to look good and to be fit.
for your own personal thing, you know?
He's not trying to impress anybody.
It's because
Well,
I really
weight
enjoy muscular exertion.
If you're frustrated with the everyday life, if you can go down there and lift a weight, I don't know if you've ever done it,
Yes.
but if you really lift it and you get your mind over that, and you're only concentrating on that one thing. Do you play squash?
No.
Well, if you play squash, it's the same thing. Your mind is just riveted on that thing, and you can get away from everyday life. And you meet fellas that have got the same interests, and it becomes a club.
There is another big reason for weightlifting, and that is the way of modern life, that people sit down all day, sedentary jobs, they sit at home watching television. We don't have much spare time, and if anybody can tell me a better way of keeping fit, with just 1 or 2 hours of training per week, and that is all that is required, 1 or 2 hours a week, and you can keep ultra fit, and I can't think of a better way of doing it.
Spare time, if you're going to devote a lot of time, I don't know how much time you have to devote, but
Well, it's approximately 1 hour, 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
3 hours.
But sometimes people, they're so, you know, if you do shift work and that touch, you know,
You're just making excuses.
Yeah,
if
you're
you
making
really
excuses.
wanted to do it, you'd
They
do
can
it.
find time to go down the pub,
Yeah.
but they can't find time to just do a bit of exercise. Or they
You
can
said
find 3 hours
earlier-
time to watch
I'd rather
television.
sit in a pub and have a conversation, have a
Yeah,
pint
but you
when
said
I want to
earlier that
relax.
5 o'clock, I can be at Carlo's by about 20 past. I can spend about an hour there, perhaps 15 minutes for a shower, and by 7 o'clock, a quarter to 7, I can go and do what you want to do. And what I do.
Anyway, I'll go
Go
work
down the
after a
pub.
workout.
And you feel absolutely marvellous.
Yeah, and you can't tell me.
Fanatical. I think
Well,
it's
look,
become-
I'm not. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't.
Well, here we are back in the gym. Let's take a few moments to look around and see exactly the sort of thing that goes on. We've been talking a lot about strength, so let's see a bit of strength. Now, I know Dave here likes doing a few press-ups, so Dave, would you like to show us a few press-ups? That's 80 pounds he's got on his back there. Okay, Al, could you take the weights off? Let's see if 11 stone. If 11 stone makes any impression on him. Very good. Thank you very much, Dave. Now, this is the sort of exercise that we do to promote fitness. By exercising the large muscle groups, the lungs have to work faster and you get breathless and you increase your endurance. This is one of the main exercises we do to strengthen up the muscles of the lower back, something that I think nearly everybody could do with. The other byproduct of this exercise is that it also increases your range of movement, your flexibility in your lower back. Right, Paul. Do you think that that really does make you more flexible in your lower back?
Oh yeah, I think most certainly. Gives you a far greater range of movement.
Well, can you step down a minute and let's just see for ourselves. Can you touch your toes?
Sure, yeah.
Very good. How far exactly can you get down?
Or you can go behind the heels, look back to the hands, a nice smooth pace, or cross your hands in front. Or we can do the other suppling movement, which gives you a far greater range. We get the elbows and your head to the floor.
Here we see a man exercising his arm muscles. This exercise, as well as making his arm muscles much stronger, will make them far more developed. By using heavier and heavier weights, his arms will get stronger and larger. But at any time, if he feels satisfied with the development he's got, he'll just use the same weight and keep the same build. There's no need to take it to the utter extremes that you see some people do take it.
Only fail, son.
Well, Lawrence, I know as well as doing weight training you do a bit of karate. Do you think that weight training has helped you in the karate, or has it slowed you up at all?
Oh, weight training's helped me terrific. It hasn't slowed me down at all.
So you think because you're a bit stronger, you're probably better at karate than you would have?
Oh, yeah, much better, I think. Much
okay,
better.
Well, can we see a bit of karate?
Certainly.
Being a cab driver, of course, you spend a great deal of time sitting on your rump, and there have been times when I've got out of my cab and not been able to stand up straight. I got to about 45, on 30 years driving experience. I was suffering considerably from a lot of back trouble. I went to the hospital, it was x-rayed, and they diagnosed acute lumbago and suggested that exercise would be the best way of alleviating it. So I did no more but come down here, and I saw Dave, who was then the owner of this gym, and he said, certainly you're not too old at 45 to start training, providing you take it, you know, steady and don't go too mad and try and keep up with the young fellas, which something I was always endeavoured to do. And I've never had any back trouble since that day, I'm pleased to say. I feel much better. Every workout, you always feel good after a workout. I think most of the young fellas will tell you that. I think anyone of any age group, man or woman, could benefit from weight training, and especially people who have jobs where they're not very active. Since I've started this weight training, it's been 4 years almost now, I've lost over a stone in weight, which I think most older people need to do, and I feel considerably much better for it, I must say. And I only wish I'd have started it a lot sooner.
When I was at college and university, and when you're young, you partake in a lot of sports, and I particularly took part in a lot of football. But as society has it these days, you end up in a job, sitting down all day. And at the present time, I'm a sales executive, and spend most of my time either at a desk or flying around Europe, going out for large meals once or twice a day. So I have the double problem of eating too much, being too lazy, and not having much spare time to work it off. And you need a lot of spare time for most sports. So it seemed to me that weightlifting was the best solution to this.
Yes, well, I'm a dental surgeon, and I found I was getting into a rut where I was gradually falling into the trap of a mundane routine where I just wasn't getting any exercise at all. I started putting on weight, and I thought, well, something must be done about this, so I took up weight training. I've been doing it for about 3 years now. I find it's a good way to maintain a high standard of fitness and strength, which equips you to do for practically any sport that you take up. And for instance, last year I cycled from John O'Groats to Land's End. Not in record time, but in a reasonable time. And I probably spent more time training down here in the gym with weights than I did actually in the saddle. Which goes to show that you can attain an above average standard of fitness and strength in the gym for a sport which in itself doesn't use weights at all.
Well, I first started training about 7 years ago, and I saw a little picture, Little Joy, in the paper, and said to me, Dad, I'd like to sort of do a bit of training. So he found out a local gym for me, and since I've been training quite regularly. I've been in for a few physique competitions, mainly because I enjoy going in for them. I've done quite well, won a few titles, you know, and I just enjoy training in general. The lads I train with a good laugh. We come down and enjoy ourselves. It's not all serious. We have a good laugh and go out for a drink afterwards. I enjoy being like I am, my body like it is. It just makes me feel proud. I just feel proud of being like I am. I wouldn't give up training, unless of course something has happened that I can't foresee, but I wouldn't give up training at all. I can see myself doing it the next 20 years. I'll still be training. It's just a part of my life.
When you've done a workout, you feel good inside. You feel that you can, I don't know, tackle things more easily. I happen to do stunt work in the films. I'm one of the younger members. I'm in a stunt register. I try to keep fit so that if I get a job, I can go to that job knowing that I'm confident enough to perform my particular feat. And not only that, it gives you confidence. Well, I suppose doing the job gives you confidence. So really, that's why I do it, I suppose.
I took up weightlifting for the reason that I've had about 5 years with a weak stomach, and I really suffered with a weak stomach, and used to lose at least 2 months of every year off from work with it. And the doctor told me I would have to pack up smoking, of which I did after a big effort. And a friend of mine who used to go weightlifting said, "Why don't you come with me?" He considered it would do me good. Well, the state I was in at the time, I thought it was a big joke. But he persuaded me to come, and under supervision from the gym, they gave me exercises to suit me with a weak stomach. And I've now been at it for close on 3 years, and I've never lost a day's work since. I've never felt so fit in my life. And to me, it's a hobby that I wouldn't pack up under any conditions. I think it's the finest thing I ever started. If you value your health, I think you should do something for it. And my way of thinking is nothing better than weightlifting. I'm 55 in May. I'm a forklift driver. It's manual work, quite a bit of manual work, of which I used to have a terrible job to get through the day. Now it means nothing. It's just quite easy. And in fact, I'm not saying this just for the sake of saying it, but I can honestly say I go through a day and don't feel tired even.